Good morning. It's been a while, but I'm finally back at Gatwick Airport. And today I'm doing another extreme day trip. I'm going to be going to Scotland, specifically Edinburgh. It's a bit cold outside, so you know what? Let's go inside, get through security, and then I'll talk to you more about what I've got planned today. Security took a little bit longer than I originally planned. They've completely changed the system now. You don't have to take out toiletries anymore, which is such a good thing because the amount of time I've wasted being stuck behind people who are faffing about with that at security is ridiculous. But yeah, onto the plane. Why am I going to Scotland? Well, primarily because the flight tickets were so cheap. I have been to Scotland before. One of the first videos I did on this channel was I did the NC 500, which, if you don't know, it's like Scotland's version of Route 66. It's this beautiful 500-mile driving route right through the Highlands of Scotland. I did it during the pandemic with some of my friends. If you want to see the vlog of the trip, make sure you click up there. But yeah, I've never really been to a city before in Scotland, so I thought this would be a good opportunity. Like I said, the tickets were cheap, but I'll go into the costs at the end of this video, so make sure you watch the whole way through. But yeah, I'm very excited. Edinburgh is supposed to be a beautiful city, and I can't wait to explore it. Right, I think we're about to taxi, so the next time I see you guys, we'll be in Edinburgh. I've made it into Edinburgh and it's looking absolutely spectacular. But before I do any exploring, I need to get something to eat. I haven't had anything to eat all day. So as you can imagine, I'm absolutely starving. Apparently there's loads of nice cafes around here, so I'm gonna try and find one of them and get something from there. There's quite a few options here, but that sausage roll looks very appetizing. It's got my name written all over it. So this cost me £5, 10 pence. Do you think it's worth it? Craving satisfied. The sausage roll was decent. Definitely not the worst I've had, but also not the best. But yeah, it's now finally time to explore this beautiful city of Edinburgh and see what it has to offer. The first place I'm visiting on my tour of Edinburgh is this bookshop called Gently Mad. Now, from the outside, it probably looks like any old bookshop, but trust me, inside it looks amazing. That was a pretty cool bookshop, right? I was speaking to the lady who owns the store. By the way, she was incredibly friendly. And that actually goes for pretty much everyone I've spoken to today, all the locals. Everyone seems so nice, so friendly. Such a difference from the people in London. But yeah, as I was saying, that was pretty amazing. Some of the books in that store apparently are well over 300, 400 years old. And they're kept in such good condition. I'd be afraid to buy a book like that because I just know it would get ruined straight away. I've just made it into the heart of the old town of Edinburgh and it's absolutely beautiful. You should be able to see Edinburgh Castle just in the background there, beyond the trees. If you look a little bit to the left of me, we have the new college, which is part of the University of Edinburgh. And then if I tilt around a bit more as well, there's even more like amazing buildings. Right in front of me is the National Gallery, I believe. Hopefully you understand now why I was saying Edinburgh is such a beautiful city. The architecture around here is amazing. And also the streets are very, very clean, considering this is a major city, which you don't really get in the rest of the UK. London, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, they all have like a bit of grubby bits to it, but Edinburgh, at least what I've seen so far, is super clean. So I've just come inside to the courtyard within the new college, and it's a much better, fancier looking university than the one I went to in the middle of London. If you're a big fan of Harry Potter, you might already know this, but just in case you don't, J.K. Rowling, so the author of the Harry Potter books, wrote a lot of her books here in Edinburgh, and she used a lot of like the buildings around here as an inspiration. And you can see how somewhere like the new college here in the University of Edinburgh was a big inspiration for Hogwarts. I've made it to Edinburgh's most famous landmark, Edinburgh Castle. Now, according to Google, apparently at 1 p.m. every day, there's a gun salute. Our time is now currently 12:59. So if my research is correct, we should be hearing some gun sounds in about a minute's time. That was slightly disappointing. There was only one gunshot. I thought there would be multiple. But yeah, Edinburgh Castle is majestic, as I said. To continue a disappointing theme, the problem I have is that to go inside the castle, unsurprisingly, you have to pay for it. I think it's about 20 odd pounds. I'll leave a caption below giving the exact cost. But yeah, as I was saying, because I'm here on a day trip, I have to be efficient with time. I can't really afford to pay 20 odd pounds, go inside a castle and spend only half an hour there, which is unfortunate. It means, sadly, on day trips, you can't go to castles, museums, and so on, because you won't get full value for your money. So I'm just going to have to admire this beautiful castle from the outside. If you Google Edinburgh, this street is probably one of the first photos that pops up. This is Victoria Street, probably one of the most famous streets here in Edinburgh. And also, if you're a Harry Potter fan, this was the inspiration behind Diagon Alley, supposedly. On Victoria Street, there's loads of Harry Potter related stores, but this one seems to be the official licensed merchandise store. I feel like it's worth checking out. As you've probably been able to tell through this video, Edinburgh is quite a hilly city, and the most famous hill is this place called Arthur's Seat. However, the only problem with Arthur's Seat is that it's an hour walk away from the city centre, and as I said, on a day trip like today, it's not really the best use of time. So an alternative is this another hill in the city centre called Calton Hill, which is like 5-10 minutes away from Edinburgh Castle. So that's what I'm about to climb up instead. Hopefully the viewpoint is as good as Arthur's Seat. Turns out the walk to the top of Calton Hill was very, very short. Probably didn't take me more than 5-10 minutes. So there's two viewpoints here. There's a north viewpoint and a south viewpoint. From the north viewpoint, you can sort of see the sea and like the dockyards. And then from the south, which is where I am right now, you can sort of see the old town of Edinburgh. So you can see the castle right over there in the distance with the cathedral. The time is currently 3 p.m. and I'm getting into the latter half of my day trip here in Edinburgh. I've got a few hours left before I need to head back to the airport. On the note of day trips, yes, they're great because it's cost effective. You don't need to stay in hotels, and so you save a lot of money. The only problem is they're very full on days. In order to make it work, you need to catch a flight very early in the morning and you need to catch a flight quite late at night. And that means you need to wake up very early. Like today, I was up at 5 a.m. So you're only getting about 4 or 5 hours of sleep tops. And they're just very full on days because you want to make best use of your time, like I said earlier. So you're just walking about from place A to B to C to D. So yeah, there's a lot of steps involved, a lot of walking. So what that does mean is by the time you get home, which is usually well past midnight, you're so tired and exhausted and you need like a whole day off the next day to recover. I guess it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make once in a while to travel to great places like this. And on the note of exhaustion, I think I've finally earned myself some lunch. I've just made my way back into like the main Old Town bit here in Edinburgh. Getting lunch was quite annoying. It turns out most restaurants are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. I don't really know why, but that made it quite annoying because like pretty much every restaurant that came up on Google that was near where I was closed. But in the end, I found like a Greek place, so I just got myself a wrap. Nothing too special. So I've come here to Princess Street Gardens, which is this beautiful sort of green space right in the heart of the city. You can see the castle just over there, and if you pan around here as well, there's New College. So yeah, this is a nice place to sort of end my day here. The highlight of the garden has to be the fountain, the Ross Fountain, which with the castle in the background gives a very good opportunity for a photo. I guess with the castle and fountain in the backdrop, this is a good place to end my day trip to Edinburgh. So what do I think of Edinburgh? Well, before I came here, I heard it was a beautiful city, and it certainly lives up to that name. It's very clean, the architecture is amazing, it's just a nice place to walk around. I wouldn't say there's a lot to do, so if I was to stay overnight, maybe I'd only stay for one night. But yeah, it's just a great place. The people are lovely. I've just had a really good time here today, even though it is slightly cold, but I guess that's to be expected here in Scotland. Another plus point for Edinburgh is that it's quite easy to get from the city centre to the airport. I'm going to get the tram back from here in Ross Fountain back to the airport, and it only costs £7.50 for a single way, which is really cheap, and it's a 45-minute tram. If you have made it this far into the video, it's time to tell you how much my flight tickets cost. It cost me £32 return to go from London to Edinburgh and back to London again on the same day, which is amazing value for money. I mean, think about train tickets. To go from London to Birmingham return the same day, you're looking at minimum 50, 60 quid. And that's just to Birmingham, which is what? An hour, which is about 2 hours drive away from London. So £30 to Edinburgh and back is a no-brainer, really. Yes, I know flying isn't probably the best for the environment compared to rail travel, but rail travel in the UK is ridiculously expensive. I guess until something is done about that, flying, unfortunately, is the best way to get value for your money here in the UK. Hopefully that gives you food for thought if you are planning to do a day trip in the future. Anyway, it's time to sign off. I've enjoyed my time here in Edinburgh. It's time for me to head back to the airport and get my flight home. I hope you guys are doing well, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.